Warm welcome, students of this academy. Today I am going to share with you this chapter 1, part 1 exercises of Honeycomb. Chapter 1, 3 questions. Okay, so number 1 question here. Why did the king want to know answers to 3 questions? Answer. The king was eager to know the answers to the 3 questions because of a thought that came to his mind and that he would never fail if he knew the answers to the 3 questions. Understood this question? Again I am replying this answer. I am repeating. Okay. The king was eager to know the answers to the 3 questions because of a thought that came to his mind and that he would never fail if he knew the answers to the 3 questions. Let's see the question number 2. Messengers were sent throughout the kingdom to fetch wise men, to find answers to the questions, to look for the wise hermit, and to announce a reward for those who could answer the question. Mark your choice. Fourth one is here. To announce a reward for those who could answer the questions. Messengers were sent throughout the kingdom. So that is fourth one. To announce a reward for those who could answer the questions. Let's see the next one, part 2, comprehension check. Complete the following sentences by adding the appropriate parts of the sentences given in the box. Many wise men answered the king's questions. Second, someone suggested that there should be a council of wise men. Third, someone else suggested that the king should have a timetable. Fourth, the king requested the hermit. Fifth, the king washed and dressed the bearded man's wound. But the bleeding would not stop. To answer 3 questions, but their answers were so varied that the king was not satisfied and followed strictly. To have the king act at the right time. So answer number 1, many wise men answered the king's questions, but their answers were so varied that the king was not satisfied. Someone suggested that there should be a council of wise men to have the king act at the right time. Someone else suggested that the king should have a timetable and follow it strictly. The king requested the hermit to answer 3 questions. Fifth one, the king washed and dressed the bearded man's wound, but the bleeding would not stop. Answers the following questions. Why was the king advised to go to magicians? Second question, in answer to the second question, whose advice did the people say would be important to be the king? Third one, what suggestions were made in answer to the third question? Did the wise men win the reward? If not, why not? How did the king and the hermit help the wounded man? Okay. Who was the bearded man? Why did he ask for the king's forgiveness? The king forgave the bearded man. What did he do to show his forgiveness? What were the hermit's answer to the 3 questions? Write each answer separately. Which answer do you like most and why? First one, why was the king advised to go to a magician? Answer number 1, some people said that there were some things which could be urgent. These things could not wait for the decision of the council. In order to decide the right time to do something, and it was necessary to look into future. Only magician could look into future. The king therefore would have to go to the magician. In the second question, in answers to the second question, whose advice did the people say would be important to be the king? Answer. In answer to the second question, some said that the people most necessary to the king were his counselors, and others said the priest. A few others also choose the doctors, yet the others said that his soldiers were the most necessary. Look at the question number 3. What suggestion were made in answer to the third question? In answer to the third question, some said science, others choose fighting, and yet others religious worship. Question number 4. Did the wise men win the reward? If not, why not? So no, the wise man did not win any reward because the king got different answers for all the 3 questions. The king was not satisfied with the answer he got. Fifth one. How did the king and the hermit help the wounded man? So wounded man. Okay, fifth one. The king and the hermit gave the wounded man shelter and protected him from the army. And the king washed and covered the wound with his handkerchief. The king redressed the wound and until the bleeding stopped completely. They gave him fresh water to drink and carried him into the hut where he laid for rest. Okay, let's see the sixth one. Who was the bearded man and why did he ask for the king's forgiveness? Sixth one. Answer is the bearded man was enemy of the king who sought to revenge him for seizing his property and putting his brother to death. He asked for the king's forgiveness because the king saved his life and he came there to take revenge from the king, but instead the king helped him to get better. Let's see the seventh one. The king forgave the bearded man. What did he do to show his forgiveness? Answer. The king was happy that he made peace with his enemy so easily and to have won him over as a friend. The king not only gave the bearded men but also said that he would send his servants and his own doctor to look after him. He also promised that he would return the men his property. Let's see the eighth one. What were the hermit's answers to the 3 questions? So in reply to king's first question, the hermit said that there is one important time. Now it is the only time when you have the power of act. In answer to king's second question, the most important person is with whom we are at present. In response to king's last question, the hermit said that the most important thing is to do the person good. I like the answers for first question because time has the supreme power. It can take you to heights if you do something good and also make you fall on ground if you want. One should live and act according to the present. Let's see the match the columns. Match items in list A with their meanings in list B. Wounded, severely injured, awoke, got up from sleep, forgive, pardon, faithful, loyal, pity, feel sorry for, wet, small patches of ground for plants, return, give back. Let's see the question number 2. Each of the following sentences has 2 blanks. Fill in the blanks with appropriate forms of the word given in brackets. He has dash to help me. So, do you think he will remember his? So, he has promised to help me. Do you think he will remember his promise? Okay, next one is here given. The dash said that only fresh evidence would make him change his desk. So, I didn't notice any serious like this. So, the judge said that only fresh evidence would make him change his judgment. Second one, I didn't notice any serious difference of opinion among the debaters, although they differed from one another over small points. Let's see the next one. That means third one. It is a fairly simple question. It's a fairly simple question to answer. But will you accept my answer as final? Fourth one. It isn't necessary that necessity should always be the mother of invention. Fifth one. Hermes are the wise men. How they acquire their wisdom to one can tell. The committee has decided to make judges captain of the team, and the decision is likely to please everyone. Asking for, seventh one. Asking for forgiveness is as noble as willingness to forgive. Speaking and writing. Imagine you are the king. Narrate the incident of your meeting the hermit. Beginning like this, the wise men answered my questions, but I was not satisfied with their answers. One day, I decided to go and meet the hermit. Let's see the answer. As the king, I was aware that the hermit helped only the ordinary men. So I left my servants and bodyguards there. I went and met him wearing simple clothes. He was an old man who used to live in a hut amidst the woods. He was digging the ground in front of his hut when I went there. He greeted me and continued his work. I told him the purpose of my visit, but still he kept on digging the ground. He was looking very tired, so I offered him to help. He agreed, so I took the spear from him and started digging the ground. After digging for many hours, I repeated my questions, but the hermit didn't answer. As evening was approaching and I thought of returning back, suddenly the hermit showed me a bearded man who was running towards us. Let's see the question number 2. Imagine you are the hermit and write briefly the incident of your meeting the king. Begin like this. One day I was digging in my garden. A man in ordinary clothes came to see me. I knew it was the king. So one day I was digging in my garden and a man in ordinary clothes came to meet me. I knew he was a king, but I still pretended to be unaware of his identity. He told me that he had come to me to get answer for his 3 questions. I greeted him and continued digging the ground. I was tired digging the ground, and the king noticed this and offered his help. I agreed and gave my spade to him. After digging 2 beds in the ground, the king repeated his questions. I ignored him again and rather asked him if he was tired and would like me to dig the ground, but he refused to do so and continued the task. Evening approached and it seemed that he was ready to leave. At that very moment, we saw a man running towards us. So this is your question answer, all of you. You have to note down these question answer in your English notebook. Understood completely? And if you have any queries regarding this subject, so please send an email completely and also send message on my WhatsApp number. Okay? Any query if you have regarding this only. Okay? Okay. So thank you for everyone.